You've done as much for racing, certainly vintage racing, as any person on the planet.
You know, like everything else, you have an idea and then you try to have it go together. And I guess it was just a big party, successful. And then we had so much fun the first time, and then you had another one and another one. But that was the plan. It wasn't willy-nilly. But gosh, we had so much fun through the years, and met so many terrific people and saw a lot of great stuff. And so, who can complain about that? It was great.
How did you decide to make it come about?
Oh, well, it's a long story. I won't go into all of that stuff. But essentially, I had several cars and tried to use them and do. But what I found that my interest particularly was the race cars, and I found that there just wasn't anything to do with them. Consequently, they weren't getting repaired or restored, and they were just laying around in the back of shops and stuff. So that was the idea, was to try to come up with something that would be like a real event that you could go to, and it gave you the incentive to fix your car and get out and do something. If it's like a Concorde does for guys who they don't really drive them very much. They do now, which is great. But in that time, that was all you could do. You could spiff it all up and restore it and make it great and all that, and then go show it. Well, you couldn't do that with a race car. There wasn't anything, and it just didn't make sense sitting on a lawn. But okay, what are you going to do? And so being able to create an event that would encourage people to do that and save a lot of these cars, and then try to pass it on to other people and see where it goes. So that was kind of the genesis of the whole thing.
Yeah. What was the first year? Was it in 74 or?
Yeah. Yes, it was, 74.
You picked a wonderful spot.
Right. But there were a couple of choices there of saying, if we're going to do this, where would we do it? And obviously, the history at Pebble Beach, they had the race history there, they had a racetrack there, they had the Concours and all of that was there. So the key was to say, if we brought back the idea of the old Pebble Beach weekends, where they had the Concours and the races the next day, and it was a very nice place to go. So I rented the place and said, okay, here's what I want to do, and told them, and they said fine, and I'm sure they thought I was nuts, and so we could do that. And then I went over to Pebble, and they went along okay, and so we just put it together. It went together, bang, that was it, and we had the first event in August of 74, and everybody had a great time. And that's the key to any success. If people leave having had a good time and feeling it was worth it, then they'll probably come back. And that was each year it sort of doubled for the first few years, and we were able to get it off the ground and shape it the way we wanted to and all of that. So we had the benefit of not having any competition in that area. Nobody had really done this before. The idea of doing a spectator event for people, for participants to bring out their cars, and everything is done for them like a real race, and we structured it like a real race with the corner workers and everything right from the beginning, and it all worked, and we had an enormous amount of fun.